Padawan to Arca Jeth, Hazen was a special case. Unlike his fellow companions, Hazen did not connect with the Force as well and was considered awkward. During the knighting ceremony, every Jedi was knighted except for Hazen. His compromised abilities and lack of perception made him unfit for knighthood. During the Sith War, Hazen would serve his former rival Barristan Dre, but as his assistant, not a Jedi. He was not able to serve in direct battles, and his job was made up of taking care of injured bodies on the battlefield. After the Battle of Tupra, Hazen was confronted by Dosa, a servant of Exar Kun. Dosa teased Hazen about his servitude to Barristan and offered him a way to return as a hero and get whatever he wanted. Hazen, unleashing his anger, then gave in to the dark side, proclaiming he wanted Barristan's life and everything in it. Dosa, pleased, then instructed Hazen to lead a group of Jedi into the Anshari Caverns, a trap intended for the Jedi. However, Dosa purposely detonated the traps before Hazen could escape. His body was salvaged by Dosa, and when he awoke sometime later in a Sith enclave, he found his injuries, including a replacement eye and 2 new legs, more or less healed. He was left heavily disfigured and had inhumane prosthetics. He also had a Sith artifact, the Yoke of Seeming, implanted in his back. The artifact caused the Force to flow past and around him, rather than directly through him, allowing his thoughts and feelings to remain clouded. Hazen, when ready to leave, told Dosa he served no one and he was neither Jedi nor Sith, and then killed her. No longer a member of the Jedi Order, Hazen returned to the Dre estate and served Krinda, Barristan's wife. She remained unaware of his allegiance, or his part in her husband's death. Krinda would go on to form a Jedi Covenant, and Hazen would indirectly take part in the training of Krinda's son, Lucien. Hazen would feel for Lucien as his mother basically abandoned him because he inherited more of his father's human traits rather than his mother's Mariluka traits. Krinda would eventually foresee the prophecy of the Five, which depicted in the destruction of the Republic and the Jedi Order itself. Hazen would twist the prophecy to fit his own needs. Eventually, Hazen would reveal his true allegiance while collecting all 10 Sith artifacts at the Dre estate. Lucien Dre attempted to strike Hazen down, but was knocked away twice by the gauntlet of Kresh the Younger, Hazen's newest Sith toy. A team of Padawans attempted to take down Hazen as well, but Hazen made short work of them. Hazen would next contact the Republic fleet, telling them to execute an orbital strike on the Jedi Temple, which in the process would kill the entire Jedi Council. Hazen, heading into the halls, then witnessed Lucien fighting Zane. Zane then struck his former master, kneeling before Hazen. Hazen, pleased, was caught off guard when Zane attacked Hazen's robotic arm. Hazen, pissed, then shocked Zane with torrents of force lightning. However, he was able to retrieve the gauntlet of Hazen's arm. Lucien threw Zane out of the estate and explained to Hazen they acted out the whole duel to catch Hazen off guard. Lucien then redirected the Republic's bombardment at the Dre estate, killing Hazen in the process. Hazen is remembered as a failed Padawan and master manipulator. Born on Kifu, Quinlan Vos was born into a family of rulers of Clan Vos. Most Kifar were born with psychometric abilities, and with Vos's strong connection to the Force, it boosted this ability. Vos was eventually discovered by the Jedi spy master Thome. After his parents were murdered, Thome took the boy to the Jedi Temple for official Jedi training. Vos would go on to participate in the Stark Hyperspace War and would become close friends with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Eventually, Vos's Padawan Ayla Secura would accidentally awaken Volfae Karko. They dueled until Vos disarmed his weapon and refused to fight her. Karko then blasted Ayla from behind with Force lightning, and Vos would engage Karko and defeat him. During the Separatist uprising, Vos became a spy, providing the Republic with vital information. Eventually, the Clone Wars would begin, and Vos became one of Dooku's Sith acolytes. However, when Dooku took his acolytes to Kifu to discuss a treaty with the Elders, Vos was brought closer to the dark side than ever before. The Elders would refuse, and the two sides would break into war. Vos attempted to rescue his great-aunt and ended up killing fellow acolyte Kedrian Say. Seeing Vos's true intentions, Dooku chased and caught Vos. Dooku went on to say that his aunt held a dark secret and encouraged Vos to use the dark side to enhance his psychometric powers to see his aunt's past. Vos then learned his aunt was the one behind his parents' death, and enraged Vos then killed her. As a reward for this, Dooku gave Vos a crystal that once powered Darth Ndedu's lightsaber, and now would power his own. Vos also became one of Dooku's top acolytes, along with Asajj Ventress. During the siege of Saleucami, Vos infiltrated Dooku's inner circle once again to meet with acolytes Scar, Bok, and Sora Bulk. Vos claimed he read the body of dead Jedi Opal Rancistus to learn his plans. Before the circle left, Dooku brought forward Quinlan Vos. Vos was then given the option to kill her or let her live. Vos, claiming he was a Jedi, spared her and was attacked by Skor. Jedi Master Thom then leaped forward. He was waiting to see what decision Vos would make. Thom then engaged Bulk. Vos was able to defeat Skor by throwing him into lava. Vos was also telepathically being guided by Aayla Secura to be loyal and stay true to the light. Vos saved Thom and then went on to defeat Sora Bulk. After the Battle of Seleucami, Vos was sent to Kashyyyk along with Master Yoda, and then it happened. Order 66 was given, and Vos was shot at by a tank and believed to be dead. However, he was much alive but badly injured, with his lungs burned and had a broken right arm. Vos then escaped into the jungles. Commander Phi attempted to follow Vos, and said if Vos didn't come out, he would order an airstrike over the Force, killing them both and the Wookiee village. Vos then came out and killed Faye. A smuggler working for the Wookiees stumbled across Vos with the dead Faye a few feet away. A squad of stormtroopers rushed out into the forest, and the smuggler claimed to have killed him. 8 months later, Vos returned to have a meeting with Thom, Quinlan Vos, and some Wookiees. Vos handed Vos their baby, who was named Karto, and claimed darkness would never touch the boy. Hey guys, Rob Terra here, and welcome back to more Versus series. I'm really looking forward to bringing you guys this matchup. This one I had a lot of fun doing. The whole point of this matchup was I really wanted to use the character Hazen, but the problem was trying to find someone to go against Hazen, because there's not a... Hazen's kind of an interesting character. He doesn't have a ton of... It's complicated, but we'll get into that later in the video. But I ended up picking... I wanted it to be a Jedi. I didn't want him to fight a fellow Sith. I don't know why. I just felt like he needed to fight some type of Jedi. So eventually I came across Quinlan Vos. I'm like, you know what? This might not be that bad. And I get into research, and I'm like, you know what? We'll do Quinlan Vos versus Hazen. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This one took a little bit longer to get out, but that happens with all of these, so I'm just going to stop bringing it up from now on. And I hope you guys enjoy. So I proudly present Hazen versus Quinlan Vos. First, we will compare their physical attributes. Before the Great Sith War, Hazen was considered a weakling. He was scrawny and never truly succeeded. However, after the events of the Anshari Caverns, Hazen was left severely injured. His body was heavily disfigured and burned. Hazen's cybernetics were considered grisly and inhumane. What really makes Hazen's reconstruction interesting was the Sith artifact, the Yoke of Seeming, that was implanted in his back. This didn't boost any physical attributes, but clouded his intentions, what helped him be more manipulative. However, in battle this won't have any true advantages. Quinlan Vos is a male Kiffer, and because he was a contemporary of Obi-Wan Kenobi, he is roughly 38 years of age at the time of Order 66. Like most Kiffar, he is around 2 meters tall and features a muscular build, most likely due to his physical training at the Jedi Temple. His tolerance to pain is just insane. This man survived a tank explosion and has been on the receiving end of many countless torture sessions. I wasn't sure where to put it, but since it's more of a species thing, I decided to put it in this category. Like most Kiffar, Vos was born with psychometric abilities. While the skill is good for tracking, it won't be that helpful in battle. This round is easy to call. Both Hazen and Vos have some interesting physical abilities. Hazen's Yoke of Seeming and Vos' psychometric powers. In the end, both of these abilities won't have any true advantages in battle. Now when we look at them just physically, Hazen's full of inhumane cybernetics and is disfigured, while Vos has all of his original limbs and is younger. The cybernetics of Hazen don't really appear to have any real benefits like Darth Malgus, therefore Quinlan Vos gets the edge in terms of physical attributes. Next, we will compare them as martial artists and lightsaber duelists. Hazen is not known for his lightsaber dueling. As a Padawan, he has been shown to be de-armed by non-Force users. However, by the time Hazen reveals his true intentions, he grew immensely as a duelist, killing 3 Padawans at once. Hazen's lightsaber style isn't stated, but due to the fact that he indirectly trained Lucian Dre, it is a safe bet that Hazen is skilled in Form 1 Shicho. Form 1 Shicho is a staple in every Jedi's training and is the most basic of all forms. Also known as the Way of the Sarlacc, Shicho uses a variety of wide-sweeping strokes and focuses on the body's target zones, the heads, shoulders, and knees. Form 1 is raw, wild, and emotionally charged. Shicho, however, was not the perfect style by any means. It was terrible against single opponents. However, in the hands of a master, its weaknesses could be made up for. The true problem with Shicho is its simplicity. You either gain high success and achieve victory quickly, or you'll die in seconds. This makes a lot of sense because Hazen never truly got into lightsaber dueling, and most of the time as a Padawan he was considered unworthy of wielding a lightsaber. Hazen did play a part in training Lucien Dre, in my opinion the best user of Form 1, but I do not believe he is a true master of the form. At the time of his death, I would also compare Hazen's skill of Shicho a tier below Kit Fisto's. He is also shown to have some skill with dual blade fencing, suggesting some skill in Jarkai. However, he is usually seen with one blade and rarely has been seen wielding two blades in combat. He is impressive in this form, but he isn't the best wielder of the form the galaxy has ever seen. Quinlan Vos was trained as a Jedi Guardian, even though Vos used a single-bladed green lightsaber instead of the Guardian blue. Vos was a great unarmed fighter and often incorporated punches and kicks into his lightsaber sequence. Quinlan Vos was a complete master of Form 4 Ataru. Ataru was the most physically demanding of all lightsaber forms and incorporated lots of kicks, flips, and acrobatics into its sequence. Vos was also trained in Vapad by Sora Bulk, though he was not a master of it. Vapad was a branch off of Form 7 Juyo. Vapad required the user to enjoy the fight and feeding off the opponent's darkness. Vapad, however, could lead the user very close to the dark side, as Sora Bulk, a renowned swords master and co-founder of Vapad, couldn't handle it and ultimately fell to the dark side. Vos would later demonstrate his new talents inadvertently during a practice session with Mace Windu, who immediately recognized his moves as part of Vapad. Windu immediately halted the duel, warning Vos not to use Vapad again, as Vos was already considered to tread too closely to the dark side for him to safely employ Vapad. However, while Vos was serving as a double agent for Count Dooku during the Clone Wars, he was encountered by Bulk, who had by that time allied with Dooku, to take up Vapad's power once again. Mace Windu, in his private memoir, expressed concerns and suspected Vos had mastered Vapad to a degree. Quinlan Vos would later demonstrate his skills of mastery in Vapad by defeating Sora Bulk during the Siege of Seleucami in lightsaber combat. Also, during his time as a Dark Jedi, Count Dooku also trained Vos in some elements of Form 2 Makashi, while characterizing Vos's dueling skills as appalling. Makashi is the second form of lightsaber dueling and was developed purely for lightsaber combat. The Kiffer has also been shown to hold his lightsaber in a reverse grip, indicating he was a practitioner of Shien, a branch off of Form 5. Form 5, also known as the Way of the Krayt Dragon, was created by Form 3 Sarisu masters who desired a more offensive style, since the defensive nature of Form 3 often led to prolonged combat, which was very dangerous for the practitioners. Vos's Form 5 evolved into an accepted style by combining the defensive maneuvers of Form 3 with the more aggressive philosophies and tactics of Form 2 Makashi. At one time, he utilized Jarkai against Tyre. This could suggest some skill in Form 6 Nymad, but in reality this is more likely of a Jarkai variant of Form 5 or 4. Vos's skills with the lightsaber are very impressive, and by the end of the Clone Wars he was even able to defeat Sora Bulk using Vapad, in my mind Vos's worst form. And it should be noted that Sora Bulk was considered by the Jedi Order as a renowned swords master. It's also worth noting that Vos was very skilled in the use of blasters. Just like round 1, this round is very easy to call. Hazen was never considered a great swordsman and was not allowed to carry a lightsaber by the Jedi. However, his skill in Form 1 at the time of his death was somewhat impressive. However, Hazen isn't even a master of the form like Vos is with Ataru. I'm going to be straightforward here. Vos is a complete beast in lightsaber combat, being trained in 4 of the 7 forms of classical lightsaber combat. Vos outmatches Hazen by a long shot in every aspect of lightsaber combat. Therefore, Quinlan Vos gets the edge as a lightsaber duelist. Next, we will compare their force abilities. Hazen's force abilities were weak at best, described as awkward. After his reconstruction, his body was implanted with various Sith artifacts and equipment. These artifacts enhanced his force abilities and allowed him to compensate for this disability. His search for more Sith artifacts gave Hazen a working knowledge of Sith magic, allowing him to tap into the hidden powers of each artifact he wielded, such as the Gauntlet of Crutch the Younger, which granted him the power to repel anyone who tried to touch him. We won't be letting Hazen use this artifact in battle, as Quinlan Vos would be destroyed in seconds. Another Sith artifact Hazen utilized was the Yoke of Seeming, which clouded the Jedi's perception of his intentions and true nature, allowing him to live amongst them without being discovered as a Sith acolyte for many years. In addition to Sith sorcery, Hazen was capable of producing Force lightning that was strong enough to kill multiple Jedi with a single blast. His strength in the dark side of the Force allowed him to influence Jedi Master levels such as Lucien Dre into doing his bidding. Hazen seemed to have a basic knowledge in the use of telekinesis, such as moving lightsabers to and from certain individuals, like he did with Lucien Dre and the Kazane Carrick. Hazen's Sith artifacts greatly boosted his use of the Force, especially his dark side powers. However, without his artifacts, Hazen is nothing more than a Jedi Padawan at best. In addition to Quinlan Vos's considerable lightsaber combat skills, Vos had the power of psychiometry, the ability to read images from objects. When using the dark side to boost this ability, Vos was able to read an object or even another person's past. Vos was also one of the few Jedi who was able to use Force Cloak, which he learned from his master Thome, and then taught to his Padawan Aayla Secura. He could locate his enemies based off their effects on the environment. He also had considerable working knowledge of espionage and counterintelligence and worked as a double agent. Besides locating his opponent on the battlefield if they flee, these abilities are relatively useless in terms of battle. Vos's Force pushes and shoves were very well developed and at times had a destructive magnitude in applying the pushes and shoves and could throw entire people over with the greatest of ease. Vos also had skill in basic Force augmentation, especially his speed. While working undercover, Dooku personally trained Quinlan Vos in the dark side and a variety of dark side powers. One of these was Force Lightning and used it in battle against Vulfe Karko. Vos also had an understanding of Force Choke and due to his advanced skill in telekinesis, could grapple and throw his victim around. Vos had a basic understanding in the Beast Trick ability, most notably being used on a giant beast on Kashyyyk. Quinlan Vos has great skill in the saber throw ability and has no difficulties using this in battle. This round is much trickier than the last two. Vos is skilled in many dark side abilities, however so is Hazen. Vos I do believe is better than Hazen in telekinesis and other basic Force abilities. In my mind, Hazen's dark side abilities are much stronger than Vos, however, this round is ultimately determined by Hazen's knowledge of Sith magic, sorcery, and alchemy. If Hazen can use one of these abilities, I can't see Vos being able to defend himself against such an attack. Therefore, I give the very, very slight edge to Hazen, and I cannot express slight enough. We will now compare their armament and tools. As a Jedi Padawan, Hazen used a single-bladed blue lightsaber, which he wielded to little effect, being bested by non-Force sensitive opponents such as Dosa. During the same fight, Hazen's lightsaber was stolen by Dosa. This incident, as well as several other flaws in his character, caused Hazen not to be knighted and therefore no longer allowed to wield the weapon of the Jedi. After his reconstruction, Hazen constructed a Sith lightsaber using a red synthetic crystal that gave his blade the characteristic bloodshine glow. This weapon appeared to be constructed from the same material that his prosthetic arm was fabricated from, mimicking the replacement's grisly aesthetic. As Hazen returned to the Jedi Order, he was still not permitted to possess a lightsaber. He hid his weapon in the handle of his walking cane. Quinlan Vos wielded a single green-bladed lightsaber, though his chosen blade color changed throughout his lifetime. As a Jedi, the blade featured a single green Adagan crystal. During his time undercover, Vos was given the red synthetic crystal of Darth Ndedu. This provided his blade more cutting power at the expense of mobility. In the end, however, I'll be giving Vos his green lightsaber crystal. Both of our combatants, Hazen and Quinlan Vos, carry lightsabers. Hazen's saber has more cutting power while Vos's blade has way more maneuverability. In the end, both Hazen and Vos carry lightsabers, so no advantage will be given for armament and tools. And now, the verdict. Both Hazen and Vos are very skilled Force users, and I believe that this battle will actually be over quite quickly. The battle will start with a very short lightsaber duel, Hazen being put on the defense immediately, Vos leaping with Vapad and also incorporating parts of Makashi to attempt to disarm the Sith Acolyte. Hazen would catch Vos off guard and would telekinetically push Vos across the room. Vos would get back up and charge Hazen, who would unleash torrents of Force lightning. Vos would absorb the volts with his lightsaber and attempt to push forward. Vos would eventually push his way towards Hazen, and once more the two would clash blades. However, this time Hazen wouldn't be so lucky. Vos would incorporate a Taru and would begin flipping around and using Makashi, would nick Hazen in the arm, surprising and injuring him. Vos would take advantage in unleashing torrents of lightning all over Hazen. Hazen, burnt, injured, and defeated, would slowly rise until the Kiffer ended his life. In all, I declare Quinlan Vos, the Kiffer, the victor. Well, guess I hope you enjoyed this episode of Versus. This turned out to be my favorite Versus yet. As I researched, I truly began to feel for Hazen as he is completely misunderstood as a character and can never truly succeed, and for some reason I felt bad for the guy. And as I researched Vos, he turned out to be a fucking badass. Anyways, if you have any more Versus suggestions, please comment them down below and maybe I'll make that episode. Also, if you disagree with the verdict, comment how you guys think this would turn out. And if you guys really want more Versus, check out some of my other videos such as Galen Merrick vs. Kyle Katarn or Count Dooku vs. Nakasatao. Until next time, this is Rob Terra, guys. Take care.